and welcome everybody, and let's hope that the tablet is going to work this time around and have some error like we had in the afternoon. All seemed good when I fixed the initial problem, and like said in the commentary in my Discord, I'm too attached to me old tablet to just ditch it and let go of it. It's like, what, it's been 5 years, and I have a feeling that Wacom products should last a little longer than 5 years. In my fair, humble opinion. Though I must also admit, I have been using it on a daily basis. It's like it's a thin grey area, I think. Anywho, welcome. And without further ado, let's get started and not waste any more time on this. Ooh, there we are. Warning, campaign spoilers. Please descend into Avernus and mayhap some Waterdeep spoilers. I mean, we're chatty, so it might happen. So for any players who don't want to get spoiled, shoo. As for the DMs out there, the GMs, stay tuned. As for RedOneArt, I believe you have something to say about our today's challenge, which is going to be Myrkul. What a miracle.
Yes, there is a lot to say, and we will find out even more every day, as we a little bit discussed beforehand. But to start off, for the new ones in chat and everybody who's watching the stream after for the first time, we are playing through Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus, and we are currently in the Dungeon of the Dead Tree.
Well, we're not really playing. I mean, I'm not a player. Are you DMing me right now?
We can be.
Oh, that could be fun. I'm gonna roll initiative, just for fun.
Yes.
I have my dice right over here in my desk. And that is, ooh, 17. Do I have any plus? Plus 2 general kind of thing?
Yeah, I guess. But 17. Okay, so that will mean that at least it's going to be a good stream.
Yeah. That's so bad.
Yeah, if it was a 1, maybe we would immediately close off. But no, it's good. 17, nice.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go over here, go over to the reference. What we did last time was Bal with some lovely notes.
Yes.
We have some notes right over there. It's like the note, you have to pull the knives that are right on the door and to open the door. That is what the text would kind of give away to with player characters. Like, oh, you deciphered the text. It's amazing. There's only one way to open the door. Turns out to be a joke because it's a push door. So, yeah.
Yeah, we love that. That would be definitely your chaotic path.
It's indeed very chaotic. The letters are chaotic. Everything is chaos.
Yes. But today we're going to be at a more, let's say, neutral, passive deity. I don't know. We discussed about his character, what we would think.
Yeah, I'm not gonna say he's not depressed because I've been really thinking about it. I think he's just, and as you say, it's just not like a lack of effort thing. That could be a thing.
Yeah.
But maybe there's not a lack of effort thing. Maybe it's just, I wouldn't know. It's not easy to get him hyped for something.
No, you've seen a lot already. So, yeah. Because today we're gonna draw the door of Myrkul. It is the last of the 3 doors that is in a chamber that is, for the rest, totally empty, but very interesting because of the doors. Especially if you're coming here by the 4th passageway, which is like an open one, then you're immediately standing before a choice of 3 doors that will bring each of the doors will bring you to another location in this dungeon.
Yeah. So...
And yes, Myrkul is the south door, so you would go more south direction if you know it, like directions at all down here. Some characters are maybe would know. Maybe somebody has a compass with them. Yeah. Myrkul, we talked about we wanted to do the doors in different materials. We already had Bane, which we did in black, darker rotten wood, and we did balm next time, which we made gold. That would be perfectly fitting in our own imagery of balm. And today, Myrkul, the Lord of Bones, we thought it would not be any better material than bones, of course.
Yeah, just indeed. As far as I can get that image to spit out. Oh, it's made of bones, because not sure if I can pull that one off. I mean, I have 1 hour, and I kind of didn't look up references for bones and stuff. And I might want to do that, but right now I'm just jamming out an idea that I have, because limited in time.
Yes.
Just want a bit of water right over here, because you said ferryman earlier. Hype. Something I was uncertain of, but already kind of thought like, hey, he is a ferryman. So, and I did read upon it, but that was so long ago, so I started to, be a little wary of my own thoughts. But yeah, thanks for confirming and finding it out.
Yeah, I really was confused with Kalimfo, and I switched the two up for the ones who don't know what we're talking about, of course. As I thought that Kalimfo would be the ferryman, and then at the end there was Myrkul standing there. But apparently it's other way around. Myrkul is the ferryman that brings it to Kalimfo for your soul to be judged. So yeah. And there is a lot of interesting things about Myrkul. But first, a little bit more of the description that is in the book, and then we're gonna play with it as much as we can for creativity. So, like the other doors, it bears the carving of one of the dead three, in this case Myrkul, which is a neutral evil deity.
It's the worst kind of evil according to D&D. Though, as people may have already guessed, I have a bit of an anti-alignment attitude, but...
Yes. For the ones, evil versus and good, mostly very easily separate from each other. But lawful versus chaotic could confuse a little bit of people. I think indeed,
depends.
Yeah, depends on the person, but I think neutral is the most confusing one, because if you're going towards the neutral spectrum, especially for a DM, if a character says, yeah, I'm neutral, then I'm like, okay, now I don't know what I would expect in your character. Please give me some information.
As for neutral, how I read it and how I see it is that they're more selfish. They would definitely save their own skin before even thinking of helping someone else out. Not saying that they would not help someone else out, because they might, if it benefits them on the long run. So they are calculated, and it is, I would say, depending on how you play it, because there's different phase of neutral, so I do get it why people get confused over this alignment a lot, hence the reason I'm a bit of an anti-alignment attitude. So yeah, I definitely read it more as taking more selfish actions and me, myself, and I before anyone else type of person.
Yeah, I think I'm definitely agreeing, because in the good spectrum you would even think first of others. In the evil, you think about others, but more in the bad sense. How can I benefit?
That doesn't necessarily even have to be bad, and that's why I have a bit of the anti-alignment attitude here. Like say, and this is not necessarily bad, but I rescue the cleric because I know the cleric can heal, so it also saves my butt, but I also can keep my team going on longer. So there is good thought behind the bad attitude.
Yeah, but that's what I mean in good versus evil. The neutral thing is what you said. It could be good, could be bad. But in evil sense, you first would think about in good, you will think about others. I will help to save them. Everybody knows the hero in the story.
So selfish and selfless.
Yes. And the evil spectrum, it's very easy to think about. Okay, I want power and I need you to be dead for that. I will make sure you're dead. Doesn't matter. And indeed, how you say it, neutral, but more like, okay, I will first save myself, and then, if it's possible, I will save others if I want, but we will see it on the day.
Yeah, that's more of the neutral thing, and you could be a pure neutral, so nothing to do with evil, but that also still kind of means that you make what they would see, and I don't necessarily see it as, it's difficult to explain.
Yes, very confusing.
Whole thing.
Indeed.
And I don't want to get too lost in it, because I want to know more about Myrkul. It's way more interesting, according to me. Don't know if the chat would agree. Also, reading the chat, speaking of, Myrkul!
Yes.
Oh, that makes me think of, what would we call it again? The previous the previous German Prime Minister, she was called Myrkul, the way you type it there, buddy. That's interesting. Because I'm just gonna type it out real big, or at least go here. So never forget, it's Myrkul with a Y and a U. So yeah, do you think he knows Charon, or for all you your fairy needs, come on to Charon Fairyways? Well, it's a funny thing. So it's not Charon Fairyways; it would be Myrkul Fairyways. And you do like the anti-villain, Lost by a Dragon, and the anti-hero. It has more depth in it, according to you, because then you kill because you like it and stuff. Yeah, definitely, because also really depending on it, because if we look at Deadpool is definitely a character from a really famous character that kind of kills because he feels like it and stuff, but it doesn't make him a bad character, because people do love Deadpool. So yeah, there's always this fine gray line as in how do you play out your character, like the personality and the whole jam to it. Like, you could be a very charismatic psychopath who's on a murder spree, but everybody loves you in time because you're the bot. But behind everybody's back, you're just killing every NPC behind the body's back. Oh, that's ruthless. I might want to do that. Anyway, so be sure to make him chaotic. I wouldn't say Myrkul is chaotic, far from it, but you could be talking about your character, and then I am more inclined to agree. But you guess the way you type the name reminds me of Murlocs. Oh, wow. I wouldn't know what Murlocs are. Is that kind of Pokemon? I need to be explained here.
It is, like,
help me.
I think that Murlocs are the creatures in like older. I have to see.
I'm thinking about Pokemon right off the bat. I can't help it. Let me grab some bone reference.
World of Warcraft like creature, but I get it's a sort of frog, but not completely frog. It's a little bit hard to explain. They are in World of Warcraft, definitely, and I think they are also in Hearthstone for the ones who don't. But then they are looking a little bit differently.
I haven't played Hearthstone enough to know the names of the characters and stuff like that, and the critters. Played it for really not long, just a bit. Just grabbing a couple of photo references from Google of bones. If it's too spooky, you can click away. But I did press on the matter like this is 18 plus for this very purpose, so I can drop in whatever reference I need fit or deem fit for it.
Yes.
Worry not, I'm not going to show the absolute worst images. I'll have a filter on that. I'll make sure that's somewhat still doable and manageable.
Oh, and even I think you can even get more things, because I am reading more of the door, and it says that the door, or like Myrkul, is portrayed as a cloaked figure whose face is hidden under a how do you pronounce it? It's a COWL.
I'm sorry. I'm too utterly focused. A cowl?
Yes, I think that's how you pronounce it. So that's really nice, because we don't have to draw a face today if we don't want to.
Oh no, I was perfectly aware of that. I mean, he goes with his whole Grim Reaper personification, so I was already leaning to read it, but I have yet to get to that point.
Where we can work with is that in his skeletal hands, it says he clutches a screaming human skull. So if we want to draw that in some sort, but we can also use your hands that you're already starting to draw, like in the top of the thing, and maybe do.
I'm not sure if I really want to go for a cool pose, so I'm not gonna limit myself to holding yay or so. So I'm just gonna wing it and then see where I strand, and if I then want to add the screaming skull in the hand, because I do want a Grim Reaper door to be epic, and I really have so much. So
I think from the 3 deities that we draw, I think Myrkul is the most interesting one.
Yeah, and I want to make it so. But right now, Baal is still sticking out because of his golden statue act.
Yes, definitely.
So I have to think about this.
Oh, maybe a nice one for the ones that are watching in the chat. It says that you could recognize the imagery, your character. So take your character sheet if you have it close by, take a dice if you're close by, and roll a intelligence religion check.
You can also roll in our chat if you just joined Discord. We have the Dice Maiden. You can use her.
Oh yeah.
We have a bot.
Okay. So if you are on Discord, you can roll there and we can watch with you.
Totally.
If you don't have it, let us know what you roll in the chat, and then we will see which character would know from the imagery Myrkul itself, or not. So for the ones who are doing it in Discord, how does it work? You said that there's a new feature up.
Yeah.
You have to.
You can play around with it with the slash commands in the bot CMD section, and then you can click on Dice Maiden. So you have all of her commands, and then you know what to do. And I'm not capable of going there right now because that would really interrupt my creative flow, and I'd be out of it too much, and forget the idea that I'm working on. So if you'd. You should be able to be able to do that.
Oh, Bayama is already rolling, so he's going to see it out. And he's typed it, but it's not really rolling it out. Maybe it takes some time, but I'm not sure.
Oh yeah, no. I already have a brush with a lot of texture to it. Maybe you can't see it, but I'm trying to go for the square brush right now to get more control and grip of it. As for textures, I could do this, but no, not right now. I want to have the whole shapes first. That's how I work, and then I figure out some other happy accidents. Maybe I'll figure out some colors. I have this pose in my head that I have to figure out and work out. And then again, it's just an hour, so I want to keep it as lighthearted as possible.
So we were saying about that Myrkul is one of the very interesting of the Dead Tree. And why is that? First of all, he has like very cool names, like he's called the Lord of Bones, which I think if you have like the Lord of Darkness and the Lord of what was the Lord of Darkness?
Lord of Murder.
Oh, Lord of Murder, and then you have the Lord of Bones. I think the Lord of Bones is, first of all, that's the coolest one. Afterward, that if you want to kill him another name, he's also called Old Lord Skull, which I think it's really funny. And then you have, if you want a more like darker, grimmer thing, you can also do the Reaper. It actually is really nickname is the Reaper. So one of those three will always fit, and you can put your setting to it if you want. I think it also depends on the culture that you are currently in, your character, which of the three would be it.
Just going by the chat real quick. I do want to thank you, Lost Fire Dragon. Yes, I've got you doing correctly. For the lovely suggestion, as in you work with shapes, so you just say what you do. That's very nice. And amazing. Really depends on the piece that I'm working on, whether or not I work in shapes. And I when I'm in a rush job, I neglect the shape kind of thingy and just go for some of the details right off the bat, even though it's a very wrong habit, and I know. I'm trying to sing or see my way through it, especially if I have an idea in my head. I'm trying to rush it through.
Indeed, Lost Fire Dragon, like Old Lord Skull or Old Skull, would definitely sound like a nickname someone of equal footing would be. So maybe indeed, like Bane and Baal would come up with Old Skull. I think.
Oh, like the old pops or something, like a sort of.
Yeah.
Old...
Ooh, Biomass character rolled really high on their intelligence religion check. Even though I saw that he had a minus on there. So he would have heard of Myrkul in one way or another. But I think your character, as I know, your character maybe don't call him Myrkul, but has another name. Yes, even with a -1, you know it. But I'm not that good in like all mythologies. Does it have another name? You definitely have like. Don't know.
I'm not sure what you're trying to find another name for.
Yeah, like biomass character as well, and like the cult.
Which one?
The mythology that he's using. The one that he is using right now. I think that he is using that. And even like Blizzard Fox, his character. Oh, Hell most like he already answers my question. Okay, so Hell. So is Hell in your mythology really the ferryman, so to say? I will answer. I hope that the answer will come up in the chat as we are going on. I also see Lost Fire Dragon say, by the way, RedOneArt, I like names that give a hint that there is something even bigger or better out there. Yes, and I think Old Skull would indeed sort of say that, like on the equal grounds at least. Okay, he also answered my questions, and yeah, not really. Okay, so in that modality. So maybe you would just have heard from a traveler that once came to your village about the Myrkul, about the name, and about like what he sort of should do, but you can't connect it, and maybe you even thought that it wasn't a deity at all because it's not fitting in your mythology. Yeah. But let's say what you could have learned about Myrkul that you can use on your own. Myrkul is one of the 3 former mortals that were raised to deity when Myrkul, an older deity, grew wary of his divine duties and distributed his influence between them. So there was once like an overall like dead domain god that said like, no, I don't want to do this anymore, and he distributed about Myrkul, and I think the other 2 would be Bane and Baal, because that eventually became like the Dead 3. Myrkul became the god of death and the dead, and ruled over the city of death for centuries, until he in turn was slain. That was what's saying in 5th edition, and of course 5th edition doesn't tell a lot about like what happens in the history. So we found in like 3rd and 3.5 how he has been slain. Not very detailed, still trying to find that out, but he was destroyed off the coast of Waterdeep by Midnight, a mortal wizard who became the new Mistra. Like, especially in Dungeons and Dragons, it's possible to just go up and eventually kill a god or goddess. And this happens, they even fight each other and kill each other off, and then somebody else eventually takes over. Mystra also was destroyed, and that eventually ended up in the spell plague, and a lot happens. In this case, the one who eventually became the new Mystra killed or destroyed Myrkul, and what little remains of Myrkul's sentience was trapped inside the shattered remains of an ancient artifact that was stored in nearby Blackstaff Tower. So, but yeah, we still talk about Myrkul. So did he return? Yes. And it was really nice because in 5th edition they say that can death itself truly ever die? That's a really nice question to talk about. And it's like, is he dead? That's also a little bit thing because he's the ferryman, and then we're going all in deep layers. But yes, he was being brought back eventually because his energy was stored in this artifact, and over the course of the next decade, this energy slowly restored the unholy artifact that he was stored in, imbuing it with the fallen deity's personalities and memories. And that artifact was in fact the Crown of Horns, or at least after it being restored. And it's teleported to many places across Faerun, briefly settling on the brows of many living and undead former servants, just long enough to create holes of undead in each location. And that eventually made sure that Myrkul came back. Those ones that are, it says, let's see, the most recent known bearer of the Crowns of Horns, who aboard for at least a year, is believed to have been a male pureblood Yuan-Tai who disappeared from its haunt in the subterranean port of Skullport in like a year, like way before most of the 5th editions take place, after being transformed into a lich by the Crown of Horns. There's a lot of information about that item in another book, and maybe we will once talk about it, but let's skip that. The most interesting thing is that all those agents that being transformed by the Crown of Horns were called the Horned Harbingers, and they eventually made sure of the restoration of Myrkul's godhood. And I think that's really interesting because a lot of deities either totally get destroyed and they come back in a way, some sort. But they always have already their part of their essence stored somewhere. So they make a plan B. And in this description, it's literally said he was destroyed, but his essence was still there. Even though he was destroyed, his essence was there, and they needed to trap it somewhere, and they placed it in the wrong artifact, and eventually that made sure that he came back. And then you're coming back to this sentence, but or can death itself truly ever die? Apparently, nah. At least his essence will still be there.
Yeah, but it was due to a mistake that that he was capable of coming back. So the answer would be, I think, yes. They would not have failed if they had it done correctly.
Yeah, but they needed to store their essence into something. Maybe if they have stored the essence in a plastic cup, the essence was still there. It was not dead. It was not destroyed.
No, that's correct.
It was. They only made the mistake that they placed it in the wrong cup, or in this case, I think
that's what I'm getting at. So that's why I think that yes, it's possible. Apparently, yes, according to their own logic, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what we already know, that Myrkul is a deity of death, but it's also the deity of decay, old age, exhaustion, dusk, and autumn. I didn't know that Autumn was on this list, but apparently it is, even on 5th edition. We already talked in like a other stream where we were building like a low-ranking follower of Myrkul, that he was, of course, from decay and old age and exhaustion, and that he's sometimes really blamed for this, like not his followers, but like the people who wants to blame, like, oh, I'm getting old, my bones are hurting, like that's Myrkul's doing. But his followers take it off another way, and they mostly try to find a way to like control the decaying, the old age, the exhaustion, that kind of stuff. And we were building a woman that was trying to keep her beauty by collecting pieces from other humanoids and then stick it on their face. And
Lorelei, right?
Like, yes, Lorelei, our beautiful lady. And maybe others were not thinking she was beautiful, but Myrkul did. And that's how she became a follower of it.
All right. Maybe you can read a chat a little bit. I think they're quite busy in there.
Oh, yeah, I see. I was talking a lot. Okay, let's see. Okay. Oh, they talk a little bit about the closest thing to a ferryman for their culture will be the Valkyries. Yes, I think that would be the close thing. And I think it would be funny that one would ever say, oh, Myrkul, yes, he was a Valkyrie one. That mix up in cultures, I think that would be funny. Lost Fire Dress, my character is more of the hunter-gatherer vibe with religion, so use the kill you got as good as you possibly can and thank for it life. And then Baimar continues in the culture of his character, like or Greybeard, who most people think is Odin himself. Harbard is his name, I think, is what he says. Okay, that is where my knowledge of that mythology ends. I have no idea. I still have to get into it.
I do know a little story about Nisa. But that's deviating from the entire subject, but only hooking up on the Norwegian cultural part, but yeah.
And Lost Fire Dragon actually said something about, like, we discussed that really self being killed, and he said, like, I guess someone else could take its place as dead, right? I think yes, but I won't know for sure, because most, like, deities, they sometimes indeed they take over, like, some domains of others, as they are becoming more powerful than the deity, or like they kill off, of course. But I don't know if it works, like if their one is still great in power. But yeah, I think definitely someone else could take its place as that. But that didn't happen yet. And at least for the storyline, you had one god of that, and then you had 3, and from that time, Myrkul was it all the time. Even as he wasn't there for time, I haven't read anything that there was another god that, like, took his place as that. If somebody knows about it, please let me know, because I am very interested in the history.
I wouldn't know about that one either. I can't help.
Yeah, let's see if the chat can help us, and otherwise, yeah, that Myrkul was it all the time on this day.
It was him all along. Dun dun dun.
That's him. Lost Fire Dragon also said, oh man, imagine your campaign starts with you killing death itself, which has consequence of people being unable to die. Now the party is tasked to right their wrongs while seeing the consequence of their actions and trying to find a new host.
Nice. I believe there's a movie about that. About a lady who can't die. So not in particular that death is dead, but moreover that there's this lady who can't die.
Is it the Age of Adeline?
I don't remember. I only remember a scene where she falls down the stairs, breaks her neck horribly, and then has to, crick it back into place.
Oh no, that's not it. I was thinking about somebody who, oh, maybe she can die, but at least she can't age.
I have no clue.
So
She does age, and
oh,
it's horrible. Like, she ages, she gets older, and she keeps falling apart, but she can't die. So everything hurts as hell, and she's probably, I think the entire plot was to find a way to die. It's like the character from One Piece, the Dragon Overlord, without getting into many details. Otherwise, we have another subject on our hands.
yeah, but we have to, like, be careful, spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that movie that you were talking about like a more of a horror movie then, or?
No, not really. It's more of a comedy horror.
Ah.
It's not scary movie comedy, but it's still like pointing at a point with what they want to do in too. But for the love of Kami-sama, I can't recall the title of this movie. I can't recall where to even look for this movie. I just recall this one scene. That's it. Because I didn't even watch the movie. I just saw the scenery, like there was a commercial for it, and that's what I remembered. I remembered an ad. That's about it.
Oh, and by the way, you're getting a compliment about your art piece from this Fire Dragon. Looks like Darkest Dungeon stuff, and he loves it. And indeed, I can see a sort of like, because of the colors, how it's right now. I can see indeed Darkest Dungeon.
I have no clue. I'm sorry.
No, you should really play the game. It's amazing.
I know. I do listen to the sound, and I play the sound when I host. When you get into battle, like Deep Dark Dungeon, then the soundtrack comes by. So I do use the sounds, but I haven't played the game. And to be frank, I haven't found the time to even play the game that I want to play, and that's Zelda, the Tears of the Kingdom. It's like I've been so busy applying for jobs, it's no joke.
Yeah. I can understand. I haven't, like, I did the gaming streams like 2 months back, but that's, I think, the latest, like, the last time I played a game. So, but that was Darkest Dungeon, so that was nice.
Well, I don't want that. I want this. So yeah, I do thank people for the reference, but it goes straight over my head. I have no clue.
No problem. Otherwise, sometimes I have that, so we will balance each other.
Yeah, we're gonna go balance each other. When it comes down to myth and lore, I know my stuff, or at least a wee bit.
Yeah.
I just placed a fairy in here for, or half a fairy, because I still have to make that part clear that there's a little shallow bit of water on the floor. That was my initial planning, because haha, wink wink, ferryman. And then this entire mystified, like, gate, or at least door, with Myrkul looking as if he's stepping straight through that door, and this lantern lit in a green light, flickering. So it probably turns on and off, and then it's deep dark, and then it turns on, and you have this flashing image. And I'd say for people, for player characters, that have to roll a Arcana check to see whether or not this lantern is enchanted.
Oh, yes. See if it's natural light or indeed magical light. Can they take the lantern?
As for Lost Fire Dragon, yeah, sure, you can send me a reference for the scene that you have in mind, sure thingy. And also, I really, the help is appreciated for things like how you would tackle, how you would draw, and that sort of stuff. That's nice. It's always very nice to hear the multiple perspectives, and everybody has their own way of doing things. And as for the lantern to be taken, to come back to that subject, because I did hear RedOneArt, I would say that depends on the Arcana check. If it's not high enough, I'm just gonna say that lantern is gonna turn off and it's gonna be worthless.
Okay.
So it's just gonna be an old rigid lantern that I won't be able to sell, and it's like, oh, it's there. Oh, great.
Because they don't know how to use it, that kind of stuff. That
they don't know how to kind of remove it from its place, standing there. And also, Gold Osborne, welcome. You've got a question. Let me read chat. As well. Beside RedOneArt, you're doing a great job, by the way.
Thank you.
So, Gold Osborne, you've got a question for me and RedOneArt, I believe. And I've played the Long Dog. You're looking for campaign settings that help you with, because you want to bring a group of 4 into a world of cold wasteland where you have to find shelter and supplies unless you freeze to death. It sounds almost like the rhymes of the Frost Maiden, but it's not it, right?
Yeah.
Long Dog. Is that a 3.5 edition adventure, Gold Osborne? Could you explain a little more, 5th edition, or that would be nice.
I think, like he says, have you ever played A Long Dark? And then I'm looking for a campaign setting that could help me with it.
Or it's a game, could be a game too. Because I'm clueless.
Yeah. No, but if you want like cold wastelands, yes, definitely check out Rime of the Frost Maiden. I haven't got that much into it because I don't know if I'm going to be the dungeon master or a player in that campaign, so I don't want too much spoilers of it. Because I am bad with spoilers. Sansji is much better with it. She can be a perfect character if she has read the story, but I can't.
I played the Mines of Fandelver so many times because I loved it. And every path is different every time again. Because, yeah, that's how it is with campaigns. When it comes down to games, I am Kakashi for spoilers, a character from Naruto anime. Then I really become really sour for it as well. It's like, oh, don't spoil it, because then I don't want to play anymore if I know how the game ends. It's really silly because for Dungeons and Dragons, I think that's it's different for me, because we make our own story playing our characters. But the minute I am spoiled for a game with a set outcome, I am like, ugh, not happy. So yeah, I guess we all have our weaknesses when it comes down to spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want these ghastly curtains effect that they kind of move back and forward, even though there is no breeze in this entire room. Oh yeah, I have 20 more minutes.
Yes, and I really love the color scheme of this.
Oh, do we?
There was a quick look of our last time.
So, as for Lost Fire Dragon, you believe it's a video game, and Biomark confirms this by saying yes, quite confidently so, and a bit like Forest, only without building and more elements and not danger. So yes, Gold Osborne, so the Long Dark is a video game with a lot of story attached to it. It's very good survival that you could check out. Thanks for the recommendations.
Nice. I love a video game with a story attached.
I like video games like Valheim, Zelda.
Oh, Legend of Zelda is always good.
Yeah, I even played Genshin for a while until I got kind of bored with it, to be honest. It was too much to get everything done and unlock every area. and follow the entire story arc got really tedious and annoying. It felt more like grinding than actually doing something.
Aww.
And with Zelda, I have the feeling that you're learning and you're doing stuff all the way along.
Yeah.
And those shrines are my
really
favorites. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I love the shrines.
Yeah, are you already playing the new game?
Yeah, I want to make more time for it because I haven't touched it for 3 weeks now. I've been applying for jobs too much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And of course, having the household, cleaning everything, and chore list continues on. And you just don't feel like anything anymore. You just want to watch something and be done with the entire day. Like, eh.
Yeah. Need my bed, need my sleep. Let's go.
Yeah. Eat, sleep, repeat.
We also got a question. It's also for the chat, I believe, from Lost Fire Dragon. Do you guys know Kingdom Death Monster? I do not know.
No. I'm gonna say no. I don't. Like, I want to say it sounds familiar, like some kind of anime, but
it does give off I'm going to, because I have.
Do you have internet power?
Ooh. Yes. Let me see what it is. Is it a board game?
I have
see. I see. And then it said Kingdom Death Monster is a fully cooperative tabletop hobby game experience.
Ooh.
Sounds interesting. But yes, it also have a little bit of anime vibe, as I see the miniatures and everything. The monsters are horrifying, though. Some of them, is at least.
Yeah, I gotta say, I have yet to play the Dark Souls game franchise, but I love their monsters a lot by design and by the effort that went into them. Like, oh, that looks nice. So rad.
Yes. Oh, the Dark Souls board game. Love it.
No, I'm just talking about the video games. The board game is awesome too, but the video games, that's like, and then the art books. All of the art books.
Yeah, I still have to play like the video games, but I did play the board game.
Yeah, same. I did play the board game too, but I have yet to play the
video games. So, a little bit going back a little bit to Myrkul and information, as that's like the original team, sort of, so to say. Because there is still a lot of Myrkul that we can go into. This, what I like a little bit last information about the 5th edition lore that I want to say is that shrines of Myrkul, or cravings of his holy symbol, appear in many places where humans bury their dead. But full-fledged temples are rare. The few that exist are hallowed grounds where the dead from hundreds of miles around are brought for interment, even if they were not of Myrkul's fate. So again, a little bit going into the ferryman, they want these for their loved ones to go to the other side. I think that's
fair
what
choice.
they mean with that. There is little space set aside from living in such location, usually a single modest shrine, but its catacombs are vast. In the deepest chamber of each temple rests a throne, and upon the throne sits a Doom Warden, a preserved corpse of the most revered saint in the history of the temple, often its founder, and initiates. Wow, sorry, my pronunciation. Initiatives, just people that from the faith are brought to kneel before the temple's doom warden, where they must spend a night and a day fasting and meditating in complete darkness. I think
that
that's
doesn't sound creepy as well. That's normal. That's a normal thing to do. Yeah, it's like those teenagers who are going on the Blair Witch Hunt project or something.
Oh yeah.
I'm taking a video camera with me. Let's go make a film in the creepy woods. What could happen?
Even though in reality nothing happened. It's just fantasy and fiction.
Yeah.
Let's make that clear, so everyone is not going saying farewell to this chat and having nightmares at night. Like, I'm not gonna be the cause behind that. No.
Oh. But I think the followers of Myrkul has to be very brave, at least, to do that, or at least don't have to be any like something against corpses.
Yeah, because in the D&D realm, those things are actually very much real. I mean, if I were to play a character and I'd have to play as myself, I'd probably shit my pants the first day on adventuring. Not gonna lie.
Yeah.
If I come across zombies, they are my absolute worst. I mean, not my worst fear. I have my other fear, but oof. They're not on my to-do list. Let's say that I don't like zombies so much. Hence the reason I'm always, or at least I've played 2 characters who want to be necromancer. One of them was, and one of them was training to be a necromancer.
And it could eventually, but then like
taking a very roundabout way. I mean, a warlock is not necessarily the best build for your necromancer activities.
No, but I think they're working up to something. I don't know, because there's still a lot to cover in the dragons.
As a player, when I started out, I also had a bit of a rookie mistake. I believe, like, oh, if I want to be a necromancer, I have to play a warlock. And I didn't do the research, like, nah, this has to be the class. This is the best class for it. Nope. Best class would be, I believe, wizard to tackle a necromancer path, and ultimately to get your lichdom situation done.
So that you can even learn longer about the necromancer.
Yeah. Become part of your horde. I mean, what?
Yeah, what? Part of the crew, part of the ship?
Yep. A lovely reference, by the way. I did get that one.
Nice.
Ah, such a black pearl. It's like with the reference, it's already gone to the point where I know where what goes where, so I would almost say good enough. Might be able to finish the piece whenever I want to.
Yeah, you definitely see the imagery. We have the little part of the boat, the lantern. We have the door itself.
I mean, if we're gonna compare them, I mean, I've got Myrkul right over here. Bane. Bane is nice. Bane is Bane.
Yeah.
Ball and Myrkul. I think Myrkul needs a little bit more shady shadows.
Yes.
On it. You make another copy. Well, not entirely black, but there.
And Lost Fire Dragon, I also saw your reference, but you have heard of me. That reference didn't go unnoticed either.
Hold up. Yeah, and the Discord. I have yet to check the Discord, but that would block me away from what I'm doing, and it might even influence me subconsciously from what I have in mind, and I start altering course, which is not a bad idea, by the way, but I'm curious if it meets up to the standard of the reference, so... I don't know, it is not typically bony color, but I'm gonna blame light. And I also know, yes, he is supposed to have this skull in his hand. I haven't forgotten.
We can take that loosely, just like we took the blades from Bao a little bit loosely. I actually searched up, by the way, the crown of horns, that like the artifact that his essence was stored in, and I don't know if it's official art or not.
But it's good looking.
It is. I think I will send it to you. It's too late for the stream to be used, but I love the art. For the ones who do search it up, because it's amazing art. It will maybe inspire you in your own
endeavors. I'm doing right now is some skull curtain thingies, like you know that Spoopy Doodle people post these images or videos of a ghost playing with curtains. Well, I'm just trying to take that to the next level. At least in a quick sketch, like to make it clear that what I'm doing, if I'm gonna continue working on this piece.
The dead that are waiting to go to the other side.
Yeah, and that could be the skull in his hands. I mean, it could be numerous of skulls.
Mm-hmm.
So when the light goes up, you see not only the curtains waving naturally, but there's also these things. And when you look behind them, there's nothing. And they won't hurt player characters. They're there. The whole spoopy thing to have people overthink the actions of their surroundings, like, oh no, I gotta run, or this door is something I shouldn't be taking. But maybe Myrkul's door is one of the best doors. It's just very spooky.
Actually, what you just told me about, like, it was there but not there, and then the curtain, it's like immediately gave me a Harry Potter vibe, that you have to experience that to see
yep.
This. That would be very interesting, and like maybe initiative role playing as like characters that in their backstories like experience that in some way, like actually do see the skulls,
or maybe in game,
curtains, and for the others do just see the waving.
Or maybe they died in game. I mean, we have played characters who died a bunch of times.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that like, but at least to like activate role playing among the party, that one character can see it, but the other can't, and then they have to discover why. And hopefully, it will bring up some stories about the background story, because some people like
this wouldn't work on people who had a TPK, and they came back.
That's also possible. Yeah.
And as for the crown, because you know, crown of thorns, I'd have to really have some concept art going about it. But what I kind of had in mind is something that almost looks like a Jesus crown, but not really. You know the Statue of Liberty?
Yes.
America.
The basic.
I love her crown, and it's fairly creepy if you think about it.
Ooh, yeah. Yeah, I think it once needed to present like this sort of sun kind of thing, but
it stands for life, a sun, but also, you know, death, because, you know, burning death. I know that's for the Statue of Liberty, it's only positivity, but I mean, if you look at her in the middle of the night, she looks creepy. Alright, so we got a couple of schools going on over here as well.
That in the last minute.
Yeah. It's only the ID and the gist of it. Nothing else. And it's like this face that is pressing against curtains, that kind of thing. What I had in mind for the pose would be more welcoming, as in, you can't see his hands, but his hands are like, as if in open arms, like, come here and step through this door and you're mine. Welcome to my domain.
Yeah, I will bring you further.
Or not, so you're gonna end up in my coin collection, but I'm not gonna tell you.
Yeah, we will see.
Maybe some pieces of armor or something, I don't know. I know it's a lot in the last minute, it's something, and we're kind of done too, but
We just go and don't look at the timer.
I already did.
No.
Alright, Oh, I didn't know I could. Yeah, I knew I could do that, but wrong button. There, this one. Look, look, look. Like a reflective kind of ceiling thing type. Good. Alright, I think this is where we're just gonna end it. It's to me good enough for the ID itself. It's gonna remain a sketch. Which timer? Yes, indeed. And Nightbot decided to go ham on ham on it. Anyway, I'm very glad that we didn't have any accidents with my pen losing connection. And I'd be able to draw.
Yay!
So that's the thing. Let's see if there's someone whom we can't read.
Yes. Who's online?
None of my pals and friends are online, and I know you are going to be online within the hour. So
Yes.
I'm just gonna refer people to you, to keep an eye on our Discord, because you'll be spamming in there as well.
Yes, that's right. Tonight I will do like an interactive like loot box unboxing, at which we try to guess the theme of the box. So if people are interested in that, please join.
Alright, that sounds nice. And with that, we're gonna end this session, and I'll have perhaps see you guys around tomorrow, if it's not too hot for me to actually go draw in the attic. And nighters.